Well, it was, wasn't it? Anyway, good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Should we sell Johnny Kenny? Johnny Kenny has been subject of a bid from Bolton. A bid from Bolton. I've got mates who are Celtic fans from Bolton. I'm going to say to them, what the hell's going on? Anyway, we've already done a poll question. What should we do with Johnny Kenny? Should we sell him? Should we loan him out? Or should we keep him? And as it stands just now, sells on 8%, loans on 53%, and keeps on 39%. I'll dive into the comments in a little while just to say hi, Gemma. How are you this evening? Hope you're good. It'll be interesting to see what you're saying about the Johnny Kenny one, but there's a lot of other stuff going on with regards to Celtic. Some people may be over the moon, but Greg Taylor appears to be, that's done and dusted. He's made over 200 appearances for Celtic. Since joining Kilmarnock back in 2019, his love affair, was it a love affair with Celtic? Or was it a love-hate relationship with the fans? Fans that absolutely never got over the fact that Kieran Tierney left and we brought in Greg Taylor from Kilmarnock. Greg Taylor's decision not to sign a new contract with Celtic is one that pisses me off. And I think allowing an asset to leave the club for absolutely nothing. I'll go back to videos that I said at this time last year. I still think that he should have been sold at the Christmas window. If you look at the fact that there was a Scottish player in David Turnbull who was sold for £3 million with 6 months remaining on his contract, I think the same should have been done to Greg Taylor. But we all know how that's worked out. I'm going to sneeze. Damn fan. Anyway, excuse me. Greg Taylor, it looks like he is on... I'm going to sneeze again. Live on air. You can't make it up, can you? Oh man. Oh, I need to clean that fan. Anyway, Greg Taylor, let's get back to evening Baz and everyone. Yep, Paul Beard says, hope to never hear that name Taylor again. Yeah. So anyway, looks like Greg Taylor is going to sunnier climates, and good luck to him. He was subject of maybe going to go to Copenhagen, maybe a bit cold Copenhagen, isn't it? The winters there are terrible. If you've got a choice, I mean, you're sitting with your missus, and let's be honest, right? You're a young lad. You're in your mid-20s, mid to late 20s, and you're sitting going, going to change jobs, love. Okay, still playing football? Yeah. That's all I'm bothered about. Cash, that's all I'm bothered about. Where are we going? Copenhagen? Fucking Jesus. Lovely city. Baltic in the winter. Or you fancy a bit of Greece? I'm up for that, As they start talking about it on a speedboat with young Luke from Celtic and his bird during the summer. Anyway, Kieran Tierney came back, and that was the end of it. And fair play to him. If he does go to Greece, I'm sure that he will love it, and he'll love the lifestyle, and he'll love the food. He'll love the food more than anything. So with him going out the door, there was another development this afternoon. Obviously, not just the Johnny Kenny situation and Celtic rejecting £500,000 offer from Bolton, but Nico Kuhn could be on his way to Italy with a team that Celtic kind of know but don't. We will do come the summer when we take on Como in the Como Cup. Como's a team that Celtic know well due to the fact that they took a player and signed a player from Barcelona, a young left back, and he's maybe had something to do when Seb Fabregas, is Fabregas even still at Como? He was on about leaving, wasn't he? But anyway, it looks like that Como are coming in for Nico Kuhn. Now everyone's saying it's in Celtic's hands due to the fact that they do have Nico Kuhn tied down to that lengthy contract, and that will make sure that Celtic get top dollar for him. A lot of people have said due to his lack due to Nico Kuhn's lack of activity in the second half of the season, are we even going to get 15 million for him? Yes. You'll get a minimum of 15 million for Nico Kuhn because of the length of his contract. Stop looking at stats for second half of the season. Look at the stats for the whole season combined. Look at the amount of goals he's scored. A little bit of dipping for him doesn't knock 5-10 million pounds off a player that's got the length of contract that he has and his age. When it comes to it, Craig's just said, would you be happy with 15 million for Kuhn? I think 15 and above is good money, and I don't think he's peaked because the way that football is played in Scotland is anti-attacking football. So can you call Kuhn a flair player? Yes, you can. Will he excel in a league where there's not as much physical contact? There's not teams doubling up on wingers. There's not teams going to a flat back 5 and a flat back 6. They just play football. And I think that he'll excel in that atmosphere and that environment. And I think Nico Kuhn will get better. Enjoy the mosquitoes, Greg. Enjoy the mosquitoes. That's a cracker. No, but I think that Nico Kuhn will get better as a player. And when you get away from Scottish football, and I think that Greg Taylor will get better as well. I think that he'll not have the pressure of playing at Celtic, and I think that it can only go on and help him. As for talking about Nico Kuhn, is 15 million enough? I think it's a fair price due to all the things I said. Length of contract, look at his stats from last year, the number of goals that he scored. All that us as fans see is the small timeline between Christmas and the end of the season, and we're like, he's fucking shite, he's fucking down tools, he's pish, he's not been into it since Jota came back. But when you're a coach from another team and you look at his stats for the season, you go, do you know, that's an impressive player. He's done it in the Champions League. He's done it consistently through the Champions League and for Celtic over the course of the season. He's scored a bucket load of goals and a bucket load of assists. That's a fantastic asset for anyone to bring into a club that plays fast flowing attacking football and that also comes up against opposition that aren't going to go, we're just going to sit at the 18-yard box. Do you know, we have to stop thinking about the players when they're at Celtic is they've reached a peak, and it's not. You've not reached a peak when you've been at Celtic, because it does come down to the way that other teams play against us that stops you performing to the level that you maybe can. But then people will say, well, that's what football is all about. It's about stopping the opposition, doubling up on every single winger, sitting with 5-6 at the back isn't nice football, and it makes the Scottish League look fucking crap. Let's be honest. Sel Kuhn says Richards is one trick pony and never puts the ball in the box first time. Not good for strikers. But with the number of assists that he's got, the stats would say otherwise. But let's not follow about it. Let's not follow it. Playing in a better league might help more. I think it will. We've got to remember that the Scottish League's woeful. Let's not butter it up. Do you know? Let's not pretend that it's a great league to watch. I mean, how many games do you watch outside the Celtic? I mean, I don't watch any other teams in Scotland because they're fucking, sorry for swearing, but they're shit. That's a shit league. You can only piss with the cock you've got, as they say, and it's the league that we're in. But when it comes to, and I always go back to when Kyogo left and went on the timeline on Kyogo's timeline on Twitter, and there was a lot of Japanese saying that they only watch Scottish football because Kyogo played in Scottish football, and then they gave their honest opinion about Scottish football. They were like, it's rubbish. I said they said it was exciting to watch Celtic, but then after that, it's boring because all Celtic do is pass the ball side to side to try and break down another team, and the other team don't try and attack. The other teams just sit back and soak up the pressure, and then turn it up for the last 10 minutes of a game if it's still 0-0 or if it's 1-0. You know, try and push for that goal to get the equaliser, and you know, and that's other people commenting on our league. We are world beaters. Just the question: Kuhn's mentality above his ability. Greg's mentality pulled him through with limited ability. I'm going to. There's several players. There's several players that have been at Celtic over the past couple of years. Now, one of them was a little player from Argentina, and he wasn't really rated at Celtic. He goes back down to South America, and he's absolutely fantastic. You can't always Nick Gold. You can't always blame foreign players and saying that they're just not good enough. They're not used to the anti-football. They haven't been brought up on anti-football tactics. Do you know, you get... I mean, I was down the beach yesterday, and you see Spanish kids playing football on the beach. Now, the sand's roasting hot, so you can't keep your feet on the ground. So you're keeping your feet moving all the time. You're not dribbling the ball. It's like flicking the ball up. Do you know, this is how they learn to play football. We've got no football signs on grass fucking verges all around the country. We used to have. Do you know, Bernabeu will end up selling for Seville or Porto for 15 million. I think Bernabeu will. I think Bernabeu will go on to play at that higher level that he wanted to play at. You know, and it's not the fact that these players come in and are crap players. Do you know, it's not that they're crap players. It's they're playing in an awfully defensive, crappy. You know, it's meant to be called the beautiful game. There is absolutely nothing beautiful about watching the Scottish football on a Wednesday night at St Johnstone away. Do you know, Kilmarnock on a Sunday afternoon in mid-February when it's pissing the rain's going sideways, and it's a plastic pitch, and the players can't go sliding on it because they'll give themselves carpet burns. Do you know, it's things like that. These players aren't used to playing on plastic pitches. They stay in countries where it is friggin' hot, but they still manage to play on grass. Do you know, plus we are impatient lot as well. Yeah, Celtic fans are impatient. Looks like O will be sold shortly for 10 million. Yeah, we sold O for peanuts, and we thought O wasn't good enough. So what does it say for us as fans? Thank goodness we're fans and not professional pundits or players, but it's all about opinions, and that's why this is why this channel is called the One Celtics Fans View, because it aims to give you. Owen Beck isn't linked with us. Don't start that chill pill. He wasn't. It was one Celtic blog wrote an article saying that he's been linked with a move. He's been linked to Rangers, so should he be linked to Celtic? And that was it. It was a rumour that started on a blog. There's no, as far as I can see, there is absolutely no substance to it at all. It was a comment on a blog. That's all it was. There was no substance. It's like me saying, "Oh yeah, Owen Beck, he's not done great at Liverpool. We could maybe snap him up for 5 million." It was a comment. There's nothing in it at all. Owen go for 10 million. Do we get a sell on? I'm not too sure. It says we are spoiled bar stewards. Who does that? Anyway, we've had over 200 votes tonight already saying what should we do with Johnny Kenny. Johnny Kenny is a fantastic prospect at Celtic, even though he's 22-year-old. He was sent away to an island. He's a future long-term replacement in my eyes for Adam Ida, who at some point we will sell on. I don't know if we'll get a massive profit for him, but at some time there will come a time that we will want to sell on Adam Ida. Can we keep a hold of Johnny Kenny long enough? Should we loan Johnny Kenny out? I think that Brendan Rodgers already told us that last season when it came to the end of the season and Johnny Kenny was starting to get game time, and he'd done quite well for the club. People saying that never got a chance. But then that was under Ange more than Brendan, wasn't it? Anyway, who cares? Those gone. And it is all about the players that is. What the poll should have been is: are we happy with the players? We seem to be linked more. There seems to be more speculation about players that are going to be leaving Celtic. And let's face facts: it's not the players that we want to be seen to leave Celtic. Johnny Kenny, I mean that bid came out of that's a total left fielder, that one. I don't think that even Celtic would have expected a bid for Johnny Kenny. Quinny's in the house. He says loan Johnny Kenny to Belgium, done wonders for O. That's quite a good shout, Quinny, actually. But who would you loan him to in Belgium? We've loaned Stephen Welsh out to a club in Belgium, and he's done quite well for them. Quinny, do you think that Welsh will come back and fight for his place at Celtic, or do you think that Welsh is one of the players that's going to go, do you know what, I've done my time here, I'm not going to progress any further, I'm not going to be playing first team football, I don't want to be third in line, I don't want to be here just to make up the numbers and sit on the bench in the Champions League game, and the only reason that I'm getting to sit on the bench in the Champions League game is because I'm Scottish. It can be disheartening for the player. It can be disheartening. So better chance of keeping Kenny when Rodgers leaves, says Paul Baird. His nightly dig. Paul, you better be over the moon. You'll be over the moon that he's gone. I'm not going to say his name. We've said his name enough on the channel. I just think I still. It's one of the bugbears. It is one of the. Fuck. Do you know he shouldn't have been allowed to walk away for nothing. But it's all down to the fact that we're still chasing a left back. It's all good saying we've got Kieran Tierney in, but if Kieran Tierney gets injured, we've no suitable backup. We've brought in Bernabe, we've brought in Jeffrey Sloop, we've brought in a number of players to try and fill the position over the course of the term, and you know, we then allow an asset. I mean, he was once valued at £8 million by Celtic, and allowing him to walk away for absolutely nothing should never have been allowed. And I think secretly the board will be pissed off with that, because there's not too many times that this board gets done over. I think the last time that we really got done over was with the keeper, and we allowed him to go for nothing. We spent $4.5 million on Bossack. What was his name? We spent $4.5 million on a keeper, and he was absolute wash. And then we ended up letting him go for nothing. There's not too often that Celtic as a business allows assets to just freely go. We didn't need to get Greg Taylor off the wage bill for such. You know what I mean? Kenny might flourish under Maloney. How will he flourish under Maloney, Craig? Maloney will have nothing to do with coaching. Do you know, nothing to do. I still think that the whole bringing Maloney in, the first decent offer. The first decent offer that Sean Maloney gets at being an assistant manager somewhere, or even a management position, do you think that Sean Maloney is going to say, nah, I'm pathway manager at Celtic? Is he? Fuck. It was a good news story that Celtic put out, and it's a position that was just a boardroom talk, bit of spin, as Paul Baird would say. It was probably the biggest bit of spin that we've had for the summer so far. In fact, that will go down as the spin of the summer. trying to put the whole Sean Maloney thing and put it in a good light, because they could say it's an important role. They said the same thing when Darren O'Dea got the role, and do you know, you'd have been better going for a rolling sausage. His CV, Sean Maloney's CV, is too good to be an office boy job at a club. His CV's too good for that. I'm sorry. And some people might say, you're completely wrong. I think his CV speaks for itself. Maloney's there so he can entice Martinez after the Rodgers era. I'm glad you said that, because it's something that I've thought about. Because we got linked with Martinez before Brendan, remember? And is it ultimately, I'm going to say this, maybe Brendan Rodgers has played a blinder, and maybe there is a bit of succession planning going on at Celtic. Brendan Rodgers knows that he's not going to be at Celtic for the next 4 or 5 years. If he signs a new deal, I expect it to be a 2-year maximum, so he'll add this season and another 2 seasons. If Brendan's want to leave a legacy, he puts things in place. Legacies not only remembered by titles and do you know, it's players that you bring in. It's the fundamentals that go on behind the scenes at the club. Now, people will say, well, the fundamentals are already there. You've got a backroom staff that are there consistently under the past five managers. But what if you put in a team in place that is basically succession planning, and that going forward, Sean Maloney may become the next number 2. But then it gets you asking the question, well, what happens to John Kennedy? Because John Kennedy's been number 2 but it's like I've said before, Alex Ferguson never had the same number 2 for more than 2 seasons. Good coaches, good managers bring in top people to assist them, to evolve the situation, to evolve the football, you know, to evolve the club in a formation format or whatever. I mean, as much as Brendan Rodgers can be loving the statistics of the game and loving learning about the game, he knows that his time will come at Celtic, but you have to have that succession. Quinny says, it was my first thought on Maloney. Can we expect to see him do that job 3-5 years? If not, then it's a bad appointment. Quinny, he's his CV is, I think that there could be a flip side to it, and I think that there is a bit of succession planning going on, because his CV is too good for it. His CV is far too good to be sitting at a desk job at Celtic for 3 to 5 years, speaking to other clubs. Now, this is why it gets interesting, because for what it said, I'll go back to the thing with Sean Maloney. Through his experience and knowledge, we believe Sean will add significant value to the role. Paul Tisdale says, I'm happy at the role to be able to bring Sean back to this club. Sean will be tasked, this is the important sentence that you've got to dissect. Sean will be tasked with developing internal and external processes necessary to ensure that we optimise the talents of our young players. Now, if that's speaking to other clubs, if it's speaking to other academies, other clubs, and making new links to Celtic, it's also given the next manager an assistant that knows everything and knows all the contacts and knows everything. There's nothing new coming into the club. That's the only issue that you have with John Kennedy. He's good on the training field, but he's never been out of Celtic. He's never been anywhere else. As an ex-player, he's only been at Celtic. He's only ever known Celtic. And as a coach, that's all fine. But he doesn't have the contacts that Sean Maloney will have through his time being number 2 for Martinez. Do you know that opens up a whole load of doors? So there's that little bit of thinking that there could be a little. I mean, it's only my thoughts. I have no knowledge on it, and I'm not adding to speculation. But if it was me, and you're bringing in Maloney, and you're like, he's management material. He's management material at worst, a cracking number two. Now, it could be that Celtic sometime go down the route, if they've done it before, when they brought in Ronnie Dyler, they brought back John Collins. Because let's face it, John Collins was a great number two. He was never going to be number one at Celtic, but he was a great number two. Fucking, I'm fit as fuck. I'm going to do 100 press-ups before you go out into the pitch. Come on, lads, let's do it. Brownie's going, shut up, you wanker. You've got a jumper on when you go to the trainer. It's -5 and Brownie's walking out with his shorts and t-shirt going, oh, Collins, you prick, look at you all wrapped up. But anyway, we do move on. So you never know what might happen in the future. But personally, I do think that he's far too good a person. And here's another way to look at it with the Sean Maloney one. If you're a football coach, you've been an assistant, you've been a manager, and then you're going to take a role that has nothing to do with day-to-day coaching or managing. Do you know, you're just looking at players and you're looking at data for the players, and then you're saying, right, who will be a good fit? You're then trying to find a good fit. That still gives you that bit of management, but he's too good for a paper job like that. I mean, that's the kind of job that you give to Stephen Welsh or somebody, Tony Ralston. Do you know, that's and there's no disrespect to Tony Ralston or Stephen Welsh. I'm just putting it in the fact that they're never going to be B-team assistant managers at international level. It's where Maloney's done that. He's managed at Hibs. He was unlucky at Hibs. You know, he's managed at some other clubs. He's got that little bit of experience. His CV's already there, and I think that it's as you would say on the street, it's way above his pay grade. I mean, that job's way below his pay grade, in fact. But anyway, maybe Sean will be caretaker manager of Brendan Reeves before the end of the season, says Paul Beard. How do we know Brendan will stay beyond next year? Chilpel, the reason I think that Brendan Rodgers will stay beyond next year is, as a manager, when you're bringing in players and putting them on 5-year contracts, it gives Kieran Tierney, putting Kieran Tierney on a 5-year contract. Kieran Tierney, I don't think, would have came back to Celtic. He would have had a long conversation with Brendan, and he would have known. He's like, Brendan, you fucked off before. I'll come back for you. I trust you, but I don't want to come back and you're away in the summer. I don't want to come back and you're away 6 months down the line. I want a bit of a reassurance that you're going to try and sign a new contract with the club. Now, managers will turn around and say, yeah, of course I am, son, of course I am. Managers tell players any old shit to get them to sign contracts. But the level of trust between Brendan and Kieran, I think that gives me an indication that he's going to sign a new deal. We could be far off the mark. We could get to. I think that he will, but it's not going to be as long as people hope. I think it'll be a 2-year maximum. That's why Keithie's back. He's ready and he loves Brendan Rodgers. Surely Kenny goes out on loan again. His Celtic future is finished. No, I don't think so. You've got to remember that if you look back at the images of Johnny Kenny when he first came to Celtic, he was like that. He was a wee skinny guy. And you're thinking to yourself, you're looking at him, you're like, put him into comparison to Sean Maloney. When Sean Maloney came through, Sean Maloney was a wee tank. You could see him trying to get a first team position. He was a wee beefy tank. It's where Johnny Kenny was a wee skinny guy, and you're like, he's never going to make it at Celtic. Look at the size of him. Get pushed there with a feather. But he went away and he's built himself up, and he's came back. And the first thing that I did when I was like, woofed, he's matured, he's grown. Do you know the physicality's completely changed for the wee skinny guy that left? And I think that he will go out on loan. Brendan Rodgers said that he would go out on loan before the end of last season. How long's his contract left? His contract runs out in 2026, which is interesting. Which means Celtic will need to. If he does go out on loan this season, Celtic will need to extend his contract. He signed on the 8th of January 2022. His contract expires on the 31st of May 2026. So if Johnny Kenny goes out on loan, he'll be given a new contract beforehand. If he doesn't, why are Celtic turning down 500 grand for him? According to Transfer Market, they only value him at £300,000. That's on Transfer Market, 400,000 euros. It's about 320 grand or something in pounds. But yeah, if his contract is up at the end of this coming season, he will have to, Brendan Rodgers did this last year. He gives some of the younger players extended contracts to go out on loan to get better. So it'll be interesting to see that if he does do that with Johnny Kenny. I think he will. It makes sense. But then again, you never know with Celtic, because if the young boy Osman comes in and he's a completely different type of player and he's on fire, do you know, it might get Celtic going, Johnny Kenny, he was alright, he was good. Do you know what I mean? Have we got the time and patience to turn him for a 500 grand, £1 million player into a £10 million player? Can he do that? I'm not too sure. If he's got a year left, he ain't getting loaned out. Celtic will want the money. Well, they've turned down 500 grand allegedly from Bolton, so we'll wait and see. And Greg Taylor finally agrees a deal to go to Greece. Is he not going to the team that knocked back Louis Palmer? Palmer will be raging, eh? See if Palmer's back at Celtic Park. It's got a weeks pre-season, he's like, and it's pissing the rain. He's like, fucking. Greg Taylor pops up on his Instagram and here's me in Greece with the sunshine. Palmer replies just fucking emojis like that. And then blocked. Oh my goodness, that'd be absolutely fucking hilarious, wouldn't it? Anyway, the fact is, as we get into tomorrow is Friday. We're going into Friday morning. I'd knock back 500 grand too. Surely Celtic give us something tomorrow. I'm not too sure what Celtic will give us. There seems to be none of us have got a clue. Let's be honest, none of us have got a clue. We all expected, you know, there was like, he's at Lennox Town, this deal's gone, deal done according to Fabrizio Romano, and we're all like, yes, it's Celtic time, come on. And here we are sitting almost a week to the day later going, like a South American drug lord waiting to get busted by the SWAT team coming in with their helicopters. You're just like, can't go anywhere. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Right, how many votes have we got in the poll? 292. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant for a Thursday evening. And there's been over 1,200 people on the live so far. Let's get up to the 300 and then we'll call that one an evening. The poll question tonight was, what should we do with Johnny Kenny after it was announced that Celtic have rejected a bid of 500 grand. It doesn't mean that they're not back at the table. You never know, because Johnny Kenny, here's a thing that could flip the switch with that one as well. Johnny Kenny himself could come into training tomorrow morning and Brendan goes, alright lad, and he's like, Yeah, gaffer. I take it you heard we knocked back 500 grand. Yep. And then the first thing that he does is goes, you're bringing in another guy, gaffer. I don't really want to go out on loan to then have my career up in, not knowing where I'm going to be playing in another year's time. I'd rather get settled and try and cement myself in a team. So, if Bolton come in with, say, a couple of million, would you let me go to them? So I could get my career up and running, because I feel that my career's kind of stagnated. I knew I was just on loan when I was back in Ireland, and I knew I was coming back to Celtic. I've came back to Celtic, and I only got a couple of games, and sometimes I'm not even getting the bench because of tactical decisions and the fact that there's already a striker on the bench. You're not going to have two strikers on the bench, so you have a mature and adult conversation with the manager, and Brendan goes, "Okay, lads, we'll let you go. If we can get in the 2 million, we'll let you go." And it could be something as simple as that. It could be that an easy conversation. Brendan Rodgers will not want to stand in the way of any player. He's always said that. But at the same time, you've got to think, is it going to work out? I love being here. I've always wanted to play for Celtic. It's a dream come true. But I don't want to be wasted on the sidelines. I don't want to get pumped out to Admiral Wacker and be a forgotten man, and then run down the end of my contract, and then I'm then searching for a club where there's a club that wants me. It's the Gustav Lagerbielke thing again. And when Gustav had his opportunity to go to Italy and fulfil his dream, he then went to Belgium on loan, and then they know that he's going back to Celtic. Anyway, who knows? Young Kenny is underrated, just my opinion. Yeah, I think he is underrated. Dan Cassie's in the house. Let me just jump back up these comments. Does my neighbour smoke weed? No, I don't know. Our neighbours are fucking miles away. They may do. It's not like we've got neighbours close. Do you know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't smell it anyway. I need to stop buying squad pish like Palmer. But it wasn't brought in as squad pish, was he? I mean, you've always got to have. You've always got to have squad players. You've always got to have players that are pushing on the periphery to come in and be better. Lewis Palmer had a fantastic looking CV and looked like he was a player that could push on. Sometimes it doesn't work. And I went past the 300 votes. We're at 307. Let's get to 310. Big Des says surely Celtic will give us something tomorrow. Friday they might do. Loan Kenny to Motherwell. Well, they're going to have to give him a new contract then, because you're not going to loan him to Motherwell when his contract runs out on the 31st of May 2026. According to the transfer market. I mean, he's been at Celtic since the 8th of January 2022, and you could say he's not really had a chance, but could just be one of those players that just doesn't make it at the club at all. Ren's shock Kyogo valuation. I hope it was more than 10 million and Celtic's got a wee add-on. It'll be hilarious if it is. Jesus. You don't know that, Quinny. That is absolutely brilliant. That was the Michael Shearer. It's coming out of France. L'Equipe paper. Let's jump onto the original. Translate. No, I didn't want to sign in Google. Ignore. Translate to English. Oh, I'm not looking away through that. I fucking hate the French. Well, there we go. Rennes. That's Tottenham. I'll just take it off of Quinny's mob. According to this, they've put a price tag on Kyogo's head of 5.1 million. Oh, that's it. Celtic fans will be like, that's it. Buy him back. 5 million in the bank. Buy him back. No, you wouldn't. But it will set the speculation. That will set speculation rife within the Celtic fan base. If he's for sale for 5.1 million, not even a full 6 months after buying him for 10 million, do you think that Lowell has got his finger in it? Do you think that Lowell knows somebody at Rennes, and that Rennes is Palmer got the number 7? Did he say that Palmer was number 7 before he left? It was Jota that got. Didn't he tell me Palmer's coming back with his number 7 shirt? Well, he would have to, wouldn't he? Would he? Because Jota's injured. God. Don't say things like that. Gives me the fear. Rennes have been rinsed, says Dalmark. Do you think that Peter Lowell has got a friend in Rennes, or it's some kind of money laundering? It has to be money laundering going on somewhere. It's like we'll sell Jota to the Saudis for 25 million. You buy him back for a wee bit. We'll take him off you, and then you buy Kyogo for 10 million, and the Celtic fans will be just fucking. Is that euros, Baz? No, according to it's in pounds. They're saying pounds. I'm not looking at the original. It's in French, and I hate. There's two nations that are really. I mean, Rennes is a fantastic town. I loved going there. It was fantastic to go there and see Celtic play. Beautiful town. French are a bit weird though, and I've drove through the whole length of France. It's just a weird place. I've got a lot of respect for their farmers, because when you see fields back in Scotland, and it's like you see the wee combine harvester, and it's like taking them 5 minutes to go from one end of the field to the other, and then you look at fields in France and you're going, where the fuck's the end of that field? It's like it's the horizon. It's like it's no wonder the French farmers are so powerful, because the amount of land that they fucking own, and you're just like, what the and going down that paid motorway, right all the way through France to Spain, it was just bonkers. But anyway, France and the Belgians are the worst drivers. So where were we going with that? I fucking don't even know anymore. Lost the plot. Oh, there it's official. He's been on Twitter and he's announced it. Yep, the man who announces everything, the man who's paid to announce deals, believe it or not, he is paid by certain factions of media and clubs and agents and shit to let details slip. The man himself has spoken about an hour ago, and he said Greek side PAOK have agreed deal to sign Greg Taylor on a 3-year contract. 5 times Premier League champions has left Celtic a free agent. Well, he's not done deal. He's maybe having second thoughts, because the last time he done a done deal Celtic one, it's like we're here a week later still going, I thought Benji was a done deal. I mean, where is Benji? Did he? He didn't try and come across in a private boat, did he? He's currently being held at customs down in England. He's like, I'm a football player. Fucking honest to God, don't have a contract with Celtic. Oh Jesus! I don't care if you're offended by that. It's just pure. It's entertainment, and this is what this platform is. It is all about entertainment. Anyway, buy him back for 4 million, sell him to some daft English mob for 6 million in January. I think if Celtic were to do that, we said that to you an hour ago, Baz, in the chat about Greg Taylor. Said what? Did you? About it getting announced by the transfer guru. I picked it up before the transfer guru was even talking about it. Christ, this was sitting ready to go live for about an hour and a bit before. How do you think the poll's got so many votes on it? 335 votes. Go yourself, folks. Go yourself. 1,500 people on the live. Brilliant. The league we're in is shocking, but it's the history book and bragging rights. Dave Morton says, the league that we're in is shocking, but it's all about history books and bragging rights. I suppose you're right there. I suppose you're right, Dave. That is what it's all down to in Scottish football, isn't it? Benji Negrin. About his announcement. Go yes. Benji has his work permit here and tomorrow. He cannot, right at the bit, scroll at the very beginning. Right, I'm going right to the very beginning, and Michelle said something. Undisclosed chill bill, here's hoping. Undisclosed what? It's not letting me go to the very beginning. Or is it? No, it's not. Top chart, live chart. Not about 500 grand, 1.7 million. Greg will struggle to play in that heat. He's always out of breath at Parkhead and it's freezing, never mind 45 degrees in that heat. Yeah. Is that what you're on about? They play football at night anyway. The SFA are holding his registration. John Shirley says, believe it or not, Rodgers got such a Jota injury. Jota, blah, 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 blah. Greg Taylor gets to be a hun beater again in European games. That'd be brilliant if he did, eh? What's the subscribers that? Not too sure, but if I do this, ooh, 21,949 is up in the corner, just under the One Celtic Fans view. I keep it hidden. There's too many folk just they subscribe and then unsubscribe, and they only subscribe to talk in the live chat and then unsubscribe, and just the numbers never consistently go the one way. And then when I leave them off, they do. I know how to play the game. So yeah, 21,000. We need 51 subscribers. Oh, can we get that for the big live? Yes, the big live. The first big live of the season. What are we talking about? Well, there's only so long to go. There is 7 days, 23 hours and 25 minutes until Celtic dawn to the pitch for the first game of pre-season in the 25-26 season. Let's go, Rumble! Let's go! Anyway, so we'll have the first team lineup prediction. Will they put it out on Twitter because it's a friendly game? Will they put it out on their socials an hour before? So yeah, it'll be back for that. Will that be the day? More than likely will, because 50 subscribers in 7 days. Yeah, that'll happen. So we could hit the big 22. I did say that we would hit 22 before we started pre-season for real. I thought we would hit that. And thank you to everyone who has massively supported the channel and subscribing. And all it really does is allow you to get notifications, and that's what you need to be pressing. Not only subscribe, but hit the notification bell so that you're notified for every single live when I do go live. And usually in July, I ramp it up a bit in July. I always go to 3 videos a day in July, and usually because there's obviously you've got games coming up and there's a lot more to talk about. So historically, I've always ramped it up to 3 videos a day: a morning news video, an afternoon, and then the evening live. But it's a lot easier doing the lives because then you don't have to edit anything and stuff. So I might just go for 3 lives a day. We'll wait and see. But anyway, we have done over the last couple of seasons, and that's not going to change going into this one. Baz, do you have heat stroke? Nope. I've hardly been out of the house today. It was 37 degrees. Do you think I'm going out in that heat? You like seeing everyone arguing, tell the truth, Baz. The lives are funny. The lives are funny because you do. I mean, everyone knows I've not got the time to read the comments. When you go into the comments, it's like you're going through different videos, and it's like there's just fucking. You could spend about 2 hours going through comments, so it's better when you're on the live. Do you have heat stroke? No. Like I say, I went out for an hour today. A couple of hours, but I was in the car into the place I was going back out. You're not walking about in that heat. 3 lies a day. 3 lies a day, says Willie, man. You should do a live for the beach. I did one last week in the morning. I did one, and folk were moaning about it. This isn't your other channel. What are you doing? Well, I was out, so I wasn't going to get home in time to do the live, so that's why I did it from the beach bar that was at. Well, I appreciate up there, Baz. Cheers. Yeah, it's good. It's all good. You know, and it's the reason for this channel will never change. It was never meant to be a podcast channel. You go back to the beginning of the channel. It was never meant to be this type of channel. It never was. It was never in the plans. Never in the plans. You could thank COVID. You can thank COVID for the channel being the way that it is. And we're all mental. Des, you're all mental. You're all mental. Willie Man says 3 lives a day instead of 3 lies. But Des, that's why I asked him earlier if you had. I don't know. No, the Germans might smoke it. We've got Germans at one side and Spanish at the other. It's like the fucking United Nations. And the Germans don't speak to anyone. They ain't fucking nothing new there, is it? They're all huffy bastards. It's probably Kuhn's brother and sister-in-law or something. I liked your beat Baz live, scoffing your tuna thing. Yeah, it was good. It was good. And what I'd really like to do is nip over to Santa Ponza. Kuhn's agent is working on a move. Yep, we all know that. He's working on more than just a move. Right, I've been on for 52 minutes. If I miss a live, always watch it back. The chat's brilliant. Baz only grows it. No, not for what year is this? Not for 20 years, mate. Not for 20 years. All I grow now, I'm looking at, and it's like the olives are outside, the olive trees, and then there's the what do you call it? Pomegranates. Yeah, the pomegranate trees. And then to the left of them, there's the orange trees. It's all great. Anyway, right, that's enough of this video for this evening. The breaking news tonight was the fact that Celtic have turned down a bid of 500 grand for the third choice striker, who does only have 1 year left on his contract. Johnny Kenny's contract does run out at the end of this season, finishing up on the 31st of May. If he's to go out on loan this season, Celtic would be well advised to give him an extension on his contract now so that he doesn't get to walk away for nothing. Johnny Kenny's a player that can talk to anyone he likes come this Christmas in January. And other Celtic news, well, it is a case of au revoir. How do you say cheerio in Greek? Or maybe he's... No, don't say that. Jesus God. Oh, does he like it Greek? Anyway, Greg Taylor's away to Greece to have some Greekness in him, and Nico Kuhn could be off to Italy, to Como, a team that we know well but we don't really know well, because they took a Celtic player, a player that we had on loan last season, who I thought would be a fantastic addition to Celtic, but he just did not fancy the rough and tumble of Scottish football. Having come through the ranks at Barcelona, yes, Alex Baye decided, go, fuck this nonsense, man, I'm off. I'm not sticking around. This isn't football. He thinks he's getting a foul against him, and Brendan went, mate, that's Scottish football. And he just stood up and went, madre mia. Anyway, on that note, Gemma's back in the house. Germans prowl at 5am. The sunbeds on you. Nah, the build fences here. The build fences. Anyway. Oh, one thing you're growing is your beard. Just said you're going to have to your age and what? Big shout out. Who just done that? Celtic Mad for the £5 super chat. This will get our breakfast. Perfect. I get you more than a breakfast here. Spain has orange walk. France doesn't. Spain has an orange walk. Does it? No idea. Anyway. Wait till this gets to 1700. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I better finish with the poll. We're at 372 votes. This has to be one of the better ones that we've had. What should Celtic do? What should Celtic do with Johnny Kenny? Sell him, said 17%. Go out on loan, said 46%. And keep him, said 37%. 372 votes. Whoop whoop. Poll is now finished. Big Des says, cheers. That's English propaganda, the sunbed thing. Yeah, it is. Although the English are worse at it. Trust me. I've seen some funny videos of English going mental up in Benidorm. And I know it's all English because, let's face it, Germans do not go to Benidorm. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.